What's up, champions? It's your boy, the People's Champ, and today we're going to talk about the 10 things that require zero talent to help you become a champion. And I'm not talking about just a champion in life. I'm talking about a champion in business. I'm talking about a champion in your marriage. I'm talking about a champion in every single way of life. These 10 things, this list just resonated with me. And I was like, man, I can just literally do this and beat 99% of people for jobs. I can beat 99% of people for promotions. I can beat 99% of people for my spouse. I can beat 99% of people for opportunities or acquisitions if I just do these things. And so we're going to go through it. And it's going to be simple, very applicable things that you can do anywhere you're at in life. And I don't care if you're literally just starting out and you're broke. I don't care if you're in that mid amazing success, in that 7-figure, 8-figure range of business. I don't care if you're in the 9 figures. And if you're in the 9 figures, you're probably already doing something like this, but this could maybe just be a reminder of what made you successful today. And let's go ahead and get straight into it. Number one, and I think this is one of the hardest things for most people to learn, and honestly the easiest thing to kind of overlook, and that's simply being on time. Now, I'll be honest with you, where I was raised, in the kind of childhood I was raised, punctual wasn't really a thing. We just kind of got up and kind of went with life and reacted to life's, turmoils, reacted to life's adversities. And I'll give you a quick story. Back when I was in the insurance agency, we were number one. I was about 23 at this time. I was the number one senior regional leader in the entire country at the time and for this organization. And I had been that way for 3 years. And when I say me and my team, right? It was a team-made sport. And me and my team were number one forever. And we had this event. My mentor at the time named Bill Whittle, he was running it, what's called the Special Forces, okay? And basically what it is, he brought the top 200 regional leaders in, and he said, I'm gonna do a special training for just the regional leaders at this quarterly event. Now at this event, my team was the MVP, and we had been that way for a long time, probably 3.5 years at this time. It was at the Riverside Hilton in New Orleans. And typically I was on time most of the time, but this is the one moment that rocked me forever. If you know the Riverside Hilton in New Orleans, it's huge, like a city block, literally, of just hotel, right? So the hotel's on one side, then it has your normal hotel lobby, and then you have a convention center, huge convention center, probably the biggest in Louisiana, attached to it. So of course, where I was staying was on one side of the hotel, and where the event in a small room for like 200 people in the convention center was on the complete end of the hallway of the convention center. Mind you, I had never even been to this particular spot, so I also didn't even know where I was going. Long story short, being who I was at the time, young, I actually got up and it was like, I got time. And so I'm walking, realizing, man, I actually don't have that much time. And I start kind of, jogging. Then I'm sprinting to get to this event. And I show up at 7:30 in the morning, an hour prior to the event starting at 9. And I show up and it's 7:30 on the dot, and as I'm walking in, it turns to 7:31, and there's about 150 people, 200 people in the room. All of a sudden he goes, all right, close the door. And because I was the number one forever, the guy that was at the door, of course, was about to let me in. He was like, oh, come on, Jake. And he goes to close the door. He goes, no. Hey, Jake, get out. I said, close the door. And the guy looked at Bill and he looked at me, and I was just looking at Bill. I'm like, well, Bill, he said, that doesn't matter. I told you 7:30, get out. And I remember in front of everybody that happened. Now, I had two choices. I could have been butthurt and, bitter. And I said, you know what, screw this. I'm gonna just sit on the floor and take notes. So I sit on the floor outside of the hallway. I listen to the whole training. Everyone comes out. And of course, all the envious and the jealous and the competitors walk by like, when they leave. And I remember Bill walked up to me and he said, if you're gonna be a leader, then be one. He said, number one, being on time is everything, but being early is even more important. He said, I was here 40 minutes before this training. I'm a multi-millionaire worth $100 million. You're not even worth $100,000 and you're late. I wonder why. And he said, if you're going to be put on the stage and want to be a leader, it's a responsibility to show others what it's like. Don't ever be late to a meeting again. And from that moment, at like 23 years old, I was almost in culture PTSD to ever be late again. In today, in my current life, especially now I'm meeting with 9-figure entrepreneurs, some billionaires. A mentor of mine was a billionaire. Every not hour, not minute, but second counts. And what being on time shows anyone around you is your time is not more important than theirs. If you committed to a time, you agreed at 7:30 or 5 a.m. or 10 p.m. or 7:30 p.m., whatever the case is, you agreed on that time. What it's showing is integrity and really spirituality, that you do everything unto the Lord, that you are honoring that person's time, you're honoring that person's relationship in your life, and you're also respecting authority. If you're an employee, you're respecting that CEO. If you're a business partner, you're respecting the authority of your other business partner, and you're showing them that I'm no more valuable than you are, that we're on the same page. We're all the same humans, not just because I'm more wealthy that I have that kind of go ahead. And obviously, look, stuff happens, like wrecks happen, things that you truly prepared for that still, you're on lock bumper to bumper traffic for an hour, but also how you respond to that. And so what I mean by that is, like, if I'm late, you can ask anyone around me. I'm texting them like a play-by-play. Hey, I'm on the way. I just turned on this road. I'll be 15 minutes. Oh, it looks like I'll be only 12 minutes late. Oh, wait, actually, I think I can be 7 minutes. And I am like literally apologetic. I'm remorseful, because being on time simply is a habit that requires no talent, but it shows you are a champion-minded person, okay? Number 2, work ethic. And by work ethic, I don't just mean like a lazy work ethic. I mean, you're the hardest worker in the room. See, it doesn't require talent or brains or intelligence or IQ to simply be the hardest worker. Let's say there's 2 people, I'm one of them, and we have a task. Let's just say, for instance, we're putting pizza boxes together, and it's me and this other person, and we each have 100 boxes to put together. I'm gonna put those 100 boxes together faster than anyone else. If, let's say, we have got PowerPoints that we've got to create, I don't care if I gotta stay up till 1, 2, 3 in the morning, I'm gonna make sure I'm the one that's putting the most work in. If we have a board meeting, I'm gonna show up early, I'm gonna stay late. I always say this, that leaders are the first to show and the last to go, because at the end of the day, I want to give it everything I got, which is also referencing one of my 10 commandments, which is leave it on the field every single day. I saw a YouTube on Will Smith, and he was talking about that he will never, ever be outworked. And he referenced this thing that if he's on a treadmill and he's literally about to get off, and someone happens to get on a treadmill next to him and start running, his brain is wired that he will not get off before that person. Meaning he will keep running and running and running to the point where he will pass out and faint before he quits before the next person. Similar to like a David Goggins belief. At the end of the day, I don't have to be the smartest. I don't have to be the wisest. I don't even have to be the best or the funniest or the most charismatic. But if I consistently work harder than everyone else in the room, those hard work and that effort over time will compound, and I will eventually be the leader in the room. Number 3 is simply do what you say. What I mean by that, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Now, this is something I struggled with a ton in the beginning, not because of integrity issues, but because I wanted to people please. I wanted to say yes to everything and everyone, right? And what happened was I would say yes to 3 people, but if I said yes to 3 people at the same time, that means someone was gonna have a no actually happen. So I said yes, but it really meant no. You can do this in your relationships. You can do this with your marriage. You can do this with your employees. You can do this with your business partners, your clients. What I've learned is it's simple. My yes is yes and my no is no, which means if I said I was going to do it, come hell or high water, I'm getting it done. Now, do I fall short? Yes, that's why I'm not Jesus. Will you fall short? Of course, but not because of lack of effort or not because you just didn't choose it. There's just life circumstances sometimes that you might not hit that deadline. But then how you respond to that shows a lot about how you are as a champion. But don't overcommit. Don't people please. And don't say something just to get the job or just to get the client or just to get the employee. And then when you really have no intention of actually following through, simply do what you say you're going to do. And I promise you, so many people will notice that, recognize that, and you'll become known for, if he says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, it's not because he overspoke. It's because literally there was no way it could happen, because I know that man or that woman, and they would have died to do everything they can to make it happen, and it just could not be done. That's the reputation you want to have as a champion. Number 4 is body language. One of the things I see so many times, especially in our younger generation, is how important body language has not become to people. The way they shake hands, the way they walk into a room, the way they're just kind of mosey in places. I always tell people, I'm like, hey man, you excited? Yeah. I'm like, well then tell your face. Tell your body, right? Because right now you don't look excited. And if you're running a Zoom, especially in the world of technology, it's already hard to transmit that body language in a Zoom when you're just sitting. In fact, even on this YouTube right now, if I was just simply sitting here like, hey guys, I want to talk about the 10 traits that require 0 talent to become a champion. So please take out your notes. I think this is going to be really awesome. Okay, number 1 is being on time. I would have lost you probably within 30 seconds. But if you notice, I'm very animated. I'm always moving. I'm excited. I smile. My tone goes down and then it comes up and then it gets a little serious and then it gets a little fun. That's a body language that keeps people engaged and keeps people moving in the moment. If you're leading a group, if you're walking in, you just got to understand that your body language says a lot about you. How you stand, how your posture is, how you shake a hand, how you smile at people. All of that stuff sends a different message, and you got to ask yourself, are you sending the message of a champion, or are you sending the message of someone that I'm going to not get around that person because that might rub off on me? Number 5, which leads me kind of the same thing, is energy. It doesn't require talent to have a good energy. It requires a choice. Life is going to kick you in the teeth. Stuff's going to happen every single day. Bad things happen to great people, right? It rains on the rich, it rains on the poor. Rich people's houses burn down, poor people's houses burn down. Rich people get flat tires, poor people get flat tires, right? It just is what it is. The successful and unsuccessful people decide how are they going to let that moment affect their energy for the day moving forward. Am I going to let that bad moment make me have a bad day, which could turn into a bad week, which could turn into a bad month, a quarter, a year, and then all of a sudden I have a bad life? Or I'm going to say, okay, that was a bad moment. I'm going to compartmentalize that to where it happened and when it happened and with who it happened with. And I'm not going to let that energy now overflow into the next interaction that I have today. They don't deserve to pay for the mistake of the person before me. If someone made me really upset or something happened or I got a bad call or bad news, bad health check, whatever the case is, the next meeting I'm showing up to doesn't deserve to pay for what I just heard last time, right? So it's my choice to still have a positive energy. And I always look at that as being the thermostat and not the temperature, right? What I mean by that is if you think about it, when you walk into a room full of bad energy, I got two options. I can succumb to that energy and be like, well, I guess everyone else is in this boring kind of sad mood. I guess I'll be that. Or I can walk in there and be the thermostat and be like, man, I don't really like this place. Let me turn up the energy up in here, right? And that's what I've choose to always be. I want to be the person that's carrying the energy that I choose for the day, but more importantly, to be able to impart that into someone else as well. I want to be able to give them that energy and make my energy give them an energy that actually encourages, inspires them, boosts them, right? To where they go, man, I want him around. Man, I want him to be in the meeting. Man, where's Jake at, man? Where's Steve? Where's John? Man, I wish they were in the Zoom. It would come off a lot better. That's the kind of energy that you want to actually have. Is what energy do you choose to have on a daily basis no matter what's happening to you? Number 6, attitude. Notice how a lot of these things kind of string into each other. You have to make a choice of what attitude you're going to carry. So energy is one thing. That's upbeat. That's am I higher? Am I lower? Am I sad? Attitude is, okay, what kind of attitude am I towards people? Do I have an attitude of gratitude? Do I have a happy attitude? Do I have an optimistic attitude, right? Do I see problems or do I see solutions needing to be fixed? What attitude do I have on life? It doesn't take talent to have a positive attitude. It doesn't take talent to have an attitude of gratitude. It just, once again, takes a change of thinking. Number 7, passion. All passion is literally the outward manifestation, the outward projection, right, of what you think about on a daily basis. Are you actually passionate about what you do? And if you're not, I would tell you, get out of that. Do not go into situations with no passion. Don't go into situations and you're just kind of going through the motion. You should be passionate about every single thing you do. You have a gift, a talent, a treasure that people want, that people need. And if you take your passion and you put it onto something that you're doing with, whether that's sports, whether that's business, whether that's marriage, imagine having an unpassionate marriage. And by the way, you see it all the time. A marriage with no passion, a business owner with no passion for their business no more. It's just a money game for them. It's just a P&L. No one wants to work for those people. But when you're passionate about what you do, when you're passionate about your spouse, when you're passionate about your kids, when you're passionate about your Christ and Jesus and what you get to do in the kingdom, it projects to every single person around you. And people want to follow a passionate, fired up, excited, enthusiastic, hopped up, fired up, optimistic person. They don't want to follow someone that just is there for the money, there for the obligation. That doesn't make anyone want to be around that person. Number 8 is being coachable. Being coachable is probably one of the greatest secrets I've ever had in my life. I tell people this all the time. I would bet $1 million that I'm the most coachable person that someone would ever meet. I'm humble. I have humility. I know I don't know all the answers. I know I have so much more to learn. I'm a 34-year-old multimillionaire that's just getting started. I'm just starting on my path of excellence. I'm just now allowing God to work on me and flourish and take all these gifts and make them so much bigger than they are. But I still have to get counsel. I still have to have mentors. I still have to have leaders. I still have to have experts that know more than me about a subject and be willing to lay my ego down and go learn from them if I want to earn and compete and grow in the same industry they're in. I cannot just always say I have it all going on. But you also cannot expect people to be coachable when you're not. You got to be the example of what that even looks like. If you're always defending yourself, if you're always fighting, if you're always basically just saying, I know it all, I'm just going to be self-taught, self-made, I'm a self-made man, that's crap. I'm a mentor-made, team-made person. Heck, I'm a wife-made man. My wife gives me so much spiritual insight. I can't even begin to compliment and praise her enough. And I'm coachable to her intuition. I'm coachable to the word of God. I'm coachable to men of God in my life that I've given permission to watch my blind spots. But being coachable doesn't require talent. It just simply requires you to lower your ego and let people speak life and truth and knowledge into your life. And if you can be coachable, then you can be a coach. But don't ever expect to be able to coach someone if you can't be coached yourself. Number 9, doing extra. I don't just do what's required. I do everything I can, which means let's go back to those pizza box analogy earlier. If let's say 100 pizza boxes was my task that needed to be done, and I had an hour to do it, and I looked at it and it's 42 minutes into it and I've already done all 100 boxes. Unfortunately, most people in society today will do just enough not to get fired, and bosses will pay you just enough not to quit. That's the culture we're creating in almost everything we do now. People will do just the reps on their workout routine that was said to do on the reps. They don't go that extra mile and push when, you know what, I had 6 more reps in me. Might as well do them. I'm already here. They do a date night once a month, right? Not once a week. Or even if they stick to once a week, but they realize there was 2 other slots they could take their wife on a breakfast or a lunch date, they don't do the extra mile. Everything in my life, if I can give extra money, if I can give extra bonuses to people, employees, clients, etc., if I can tip extra, if I can give my wife an extra flowers, if I can give her extra bouquet, if I can give her extra time, if I can, put extra money into my business, if I can do extra hours on a project, everything about me is going extra. Everything I possibly can, right? No matter what it is. I don't care what it is. If I can play one more extra game of pickleball with my friends because I have a little more time, I can. Every single thing I do, I try to say, how much more extra can I do versus what's required? Because in that pizza box story, I'm going to take the next 18 minutes and do as many more boxes as I can. So when the boss comes in or the next shift comes in, I go, hey man, I already did about 30 more boxes. I already got you a jump start. I want to be of assistance. I want to help. And lastly, and I think most importantly, which really wraps all 9 of these up, is just simply being prepared. Preparation is probably one of the biggest things you could do. Because if you're already prepared, nothing really comes up. I always say this all the time, that Success 101 is nothing can come up when something's already up. I love when people say, well, I didn't do this because something came up. I didn't hit the deadline because something came up. I didn't turn that in because something came up, right? I didn't love on my wife because something came up. But if you're prepared, if you're thinking about it the night before, the morning of, you're getting your agenda, you're preparing, you're going into a meeting in your mind before you ever actually go into the room, and you're prepared for what's to come. You're prepared for the downs. You're prepared for the ups. You're prepared for the adversity. You're prepared for the wins. Life can't really throw you curveballs if you're prepared for the curveball to be thrown. And so being prepared in everything you do is going to allow you to position yourself to be a champion in even the bad situations because you're prepared for them. You're not speaking over them. You're not expecting them to happen. You're not giving life to the bad, but you're prepared for when the bad arises. If you can take that into every single thing you do, it will truly, truly change how you see adversity, problems, and detours or speed bumps that happen in your life, right? So once again, what's those 10? Being on time. Work ethic, meaning work hard. Do what you say you're going to do. Body language, energy, attitude, passion, being coachable, doing extra, and being prepared. This list of 10 things has truly allowed me to become a 9-figure entrepreneur, to become a multimillionaire by 30, to have a dream marriage, my soulmate, my best friend, to still be feeling like I'm in the dating phase 4 years later. We're about to have our first child, and yet I still feel like I'm literally going on my first date with her this week. Being able to be a CEO of over 20 entities, soon to be 30 entities, being able to have 9 figures of revenue, be able to lead over 1,000 employees, be able to have executives of all walks of life, all playing team chiefs, but all playing like Indians. These 10 things has allowed me to get in rooms that I never would have probably been invited to, have relationships with entrepreneurs and successful people that I probably would have never met in my past childhood. These 10 things that do not require talent, they may be small, but they make the biggest difference in your life. And so comment below, let me know which one of these you need to work on. Let me know which one of these, maybe that is the greatest thing you've done. Maybe comment below and let me know which ones that you're gonna add to your arsenal. You might be doing 5, 6, or 7 of these things, but maybe 3 of these, right, can take you to the next level. And if this is the kind of stuff you like, man, comment, subscribe, send this to people, right? Get people else to watch this. Send this to some of your employees, not as a shot, but as something that can help them get to the next level. And if it's for you, and I always say this at every meeting when I'm learning, I say, this is for me. At the top of my notebook, This is for me. I'm not doing it to listen to say, oh, you heard that? Oh, you heard that? So watch this YouTube video for you. Let God speak into you. And if there's something that you're lacking, man, give it everything you got and take it to the next level. But I'm telling you guys, to win a championship team, to become a champion, is doing what champions do even when you don't want to do it. And a lot of these things, there's times I don't want to do it, but I still just make it happen. And I can promise you, acting my way into thinking like a champion is how I can become one. You acting your way into thinking is how you'll become one, but don't just think about it and expect the action to follow. So hopefully this helped. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, share this with someone you think this can help with. And I hope to see you on this other side. And I hope to see you at the top because the bottom's too crowded. And I can't wait to see you win, champion.